Welcome back to Bibliophiles Audiophiles. This is the second episode of the year, and we are doing the letter B in our ABC challenge.
B is for Bob.
I thought you were going to say bottom.
No.
Today we are doing Bringing Home the Rain by Bob McGough.
Bob, if you're listening,
Congratulations.
you might be, because we're probably going to reach out to you and let you know that we're doing your book.
Probably.
So if you...
You got to meet this guy at the Sumiton Book Fest, and I didn't, because he had, by the time I had time to walk around, I think he'd already packed up and left.
No, this was like at close to 2 o'clock. What time did we do the raffle? Like 2?
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
It ended
It was getting close to that time, because I remember I just ventured out, because I was like, we hadn't gone over there. There's like the field that we're on.
Side,
there was like a bridge. Like I knew you didn't go over the bridge. So I was like, let me go over the bridge, find out what's going on over there.
Yeah.
It was all the dark books. Like,
I should have went.
So it was like the
next year.
Darker stuff, because that's how they set it up. And I got to meet him, and there's one other author, but we're not doing his book till because his is the letter U.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yes. It's the letter U. Bob's up first for the authors that we met at the Sumiton Book Fest.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
So, Bringing Home the Rain. I can 100% guarantee you have not read a book like this before. It is on Kindle Unlimited. It is $2.99 on Kindle. We met this author at the Sumiton Book Fest. So there's just some tidbits. Here is the description. Howard Marsh is a lot of things. A liar, a thief, a poor man's wizard. He's the product of a miserable county with more dirt roads than paved, where poverty and loss is the order of the day. He's a man haunted by his past, and has yet to find any reason to try and piece himself back together. Where we find him is at the bottom, eking out a living as a water witch, a copper thief, a finder of lost things, living in a storage shed and trying to maintain what's left of the frayed relationships of the few family members who will still talk to him. Untrained, he uses the drugs that ravage his body to fuel his magic. Within these pages, Marsh will work to unravel 2 supernatural mysteries as only a redneck wizard can, poorly and with much cursing. In Bring Home the Rain, he has to piece together just why it hasn't rained in months within the bounds of a perfect circle just south of town. And in Dancing with Your Demons, he's on the trail of a missing woman whose now infamous son once burned down a church. He is Howard Marsh, the Methgician. He's a travesty, but he's the best hope Jubal County has. Warning, this book contains much cursing and foul language as befits a tale told by a drug-addled white trash wizard. The content warnings are alcoholism, body horror, confinement, drug abuse, miscarriage, sexual content, cancer, domestic abuse, and infidelity.
And
spicy. Meth, if you just want to,
Oh, with meth.
Meth, yeah.
I will say, when I met him at the book fest, he was selling his books, and there was a couple options. The reason why I wanted to go check him out, though, is because there was that girl that came to our booth, Layla.
Yes.
So she's the one that, brought it up. She came to our booth, 5 times?
Yes.
It felt like.
Loved her, absolutely.
She was so sweet. And she came and she told us about this book. It wasn't this book, but, it was a series. Because he has a book where it's, I think there's 6 books in the series.
Maybe.
However many books are in the series. There's several books in the series, and it was just one big book for $35.
Yeah.
Which is a really good deal for books. But I didn't get that one when I bought a book from him, and the reason why is because I was like, this is a genre that's different.
Yes.
So I was like, let me get
the first
one. Just test the waters to see if it's something I might enjoy. That's why I did that. But yeah, honestly, I really like the book fest because the books they were selling was for a real big steal for how normal books would cost at
they were absolutely
an actual bookstore. Damn.
Very much looking forward to this year's book fest in
Me
October.
Too. Oh,
they have not set a date yet.
I'm requesting off that day.
The
second we find out
the date. Yeah, I'm going to find a babysitter. I'm just going to be like, you have these children these days. Don't even argue.
Average rating on Storygraph is a 3.59, I believe I wrote down. I kind of wrote that in highlighter, and it's very hard to see. The lowest rated review I found on there is actually not a review. I'm pretty sure it is a DNF.
Oh.
And it's in quotes here, which I'm assuming is a quote from the book. Says, the squawking of an infant was piercing out from within it somewhere, and I cringed. I had forgotten about the latest little trophy.
Yes.
And that's in bold. The comment underneath that says, lovely main character we have here.
Mm-hmm. They DNF'd?
I guess, because there's no rating on it.
Oh my gosh. I do remember that line, and that line was kind of like, she hits different. Man.
The highest rated review on here is a 4.75. And it says, not my usual genre, but I'm so glad I read this. Amazing character voice, fun plot, interesting characters, and I really enjoyed this book. And for Goodreads, the average rating is a 4.17. There wasn't anything that was really low. There was a 2-star written rating, but that was like a mile long. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't going to read that. So,
our adoring fans probably thank you.
Yeah. I had something that was right there. Oh, okay. Sorry, I had it in front of me, but I guess I missed it. So, 3 stars. Fresh perspective for an urban, scratch that out, rural fantasy, and was easy enough to read. This book is 2 separate stories contained as one, and I think I preferred the first to the second. And the 5-star I picked on there, I'm going to do 2 because they're both really short. So his first 5-star says, with a world as lively as Howard Marsh, I'm in love with this series. And this one says, I really enjoyed this book. If this would have been placed in that town I was from, I could name those folks. This was an easy read and gave me laughs throughout. Now on to the second one. And then for Amazon, the average rating is a 4.5, 5. The lowest rating I could find on there was also a 3-star. So this one is a 3-star that says, are you a loser? Do you revel in the waste of your own existence? Then you might relate to Marsh. I love the concept of a meth wizard, but this 90% life of a drug addict and 10% wizard, there's almost no plot, just a sad existence drifting from one high to the next. The writing is excellent, but I have no interest in Marsh because he's a categorically terrible person and there's not much for him to do. And then the 5-star I picked out is, this northerner is a fool for a good southern story. Maybe in a previous life I lived the south of the Mason-Dixon line, yet in this one I have never been unless one counts vicariously by book or video. I enjoyed bringing home the rain. Obviously, I couldn't see Jeremy Davies, Dickie Bennett on Justified, playing Marsh even though the eye color is wrong. And that's that.
I'm trying to see how many, and that's why I've been doing this entire time, is trying to figure out how many books there are in this series. Because the one that we read was the first one. There are 6 of the Jubal County saga. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the reviews, though, that I was thinking of, I noticed that recently, mind you, we aren't in our present time right now when we're recording this, we're not in 2024 yet.
No.
So I was looking at his Instagram page because I was looking for a way to reach out to him because I have his information, but I thought maybe I can just do it quickly from my phone. Mm-hmm. I haven't done it yet, but we'll get there, honey. Okay.
We're working on it. Chill.
He posted on Instagram that his goal for 2023 was to get 200 ratings on Amazon. Aww. And he reached his goal. So he's got 200 listed ratings on Amazon.
Oh, congratulations. That's so sweet.
So sweet. I was just like, oh.
So he's got 6 books, and they are all on KU.
That's nice. I appreciate a person who puts it on KU.
Yes.
Oh.
Even though Amazon apparently is making it difficult.
Yeah.
Here recently, and a lot of authors are leaving KU.
Yeah.
So we really hope this one doesn't. If it would be better for him, though, I would 100% buy his work.
100% justify.
Love it.
You know.
Yeah.
So, I guess we're moving on to James.
James! Where have you been, Loca? Can I start? Because I have the first note. I think you're going to love it.
Oh, I should probably pull out my notes. Sure.
Here, you know. I'm imagining him as the meth head that walked down my driveway, asked you for a ride.
Oh.
You said no, then continued to me and Nick. Meanwhile, I'm heavily pregnant, and he's trying to bum money, a phone, and a ride off of us. At one point, I'm pretty sure he asked if the lawnmowers ran because he was willing to ride one of those. And I'm like, sir, we have 5 lawnmowers. None of them run. One of them runs sometimes. But the entire time I was reading this, I was imagining that guy.
I was picturing someone older.
Maybe a little bit older, but yeah, that's like the closest interaction I've ever had with a meth head.
I can picture him in my head, but I can't picture him. Like, I can't put into words who I'm picturing.
Yeah, me with the mind thing that I can't picture anything, it has to be words or someone I've seen before. Mm-hmm. So
fair. It's fair.
With his backpack and his purple tennis shoes.
No, that's the one from Sumiton.
Oh, that's the guy from Sumiton. You know what? We should just imagine that guy.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know if anyone who's went to the Sumiton Book Fest remembers him, but like he was the star of our show.
He was the star of the show for us because we would get sad when he left. Yeah. And he would come back and I'd be like, Alyssa, he's back. Alyssa, he's back. Man, he's just the cop, the crackhead, and the old guy, and they were just standing there on the side of the road, just shooting the bull, and I'm like, wow, what a world.
Maybe he's not a crackhead, he's just crazy.
He did look a little bit crazy.
So maybe.
I aspire to be him when I grow up.
Just not caring.
No. Honestly, no. He's got his bike, his tennis shoes, he's good to go.
Yeah. I wrote, as my first note though, is that this was like when I was about 10% into the book. It was getting really hard for me to get into it, but I am like that with most new books, especially ones where I'm kind of just like, it's not what I normally go for.
I can understand that with this one. It's a Methgician.
It's a Methgician. That's my second note. Methgician. Yes. I'm like, that's a really fun play on words.
Yeah.
That's kind of what sold me on to like finding out what this was about, because Layla mentioned that to us.
Yeah.
And she was just like, Methgician. And I'm like, oh.
I have never heard that word. And
same.
If I ever hear it again for the rest of my life, I'm just always going to be thinking about Howard Marsh.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Have you ever tried peanuts and Coke?
I have not, nor do I have a desire to.
I haven't either, but my dad and my brother absolutely love it, and they have been trying to sell me on it my entire life.
Your dad has not asked me about it yet.
Really?
I've lived with this man for a couple years now.
Like, it's not something he gets regularly, but if he's in the gas station and he sees peanuts and Cokes, he's gonna get it.
You see, the thing is, though, I don't really like Coke.
I like Pepsi myself.
Yeah. Our mutual ex sold me on that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it and I'm tasting it and I'm like, you know what, Pepsi's better.
It really is.
But
Nobody agrees.
I'm not really much of a soda drinker now. Like, I'm not... Like, I'll drink it if it's there, but I don't...
I have limited myself down to one a day instead of constantly drinking Coke because I'm trying to drink more and more water.
That's why I got the, what's that powder you add to the...
Liquid IV?
Yes, that.
Yeah.
That's why I've been drinking that.
That stuff's godsend. I love that.
Oh, I have a quote.
I do too. What's yours?
If I could teach a goat to
That's
take
my
drugs
quote.
right, I'd never need friends again.
If I could teach a goat to do drugs right, I probably would never need real people for friends again. Same.
I was pulling into the parking lot at some place, and like I'm like concentrating. So here's my thing. This is gonna sound really, really stupidly weird. When it comes to parking, I only like parking in spaces that are to the left of my vehicle. Unless they're like that fishtail like parking. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If I have like the straight, like perpendicular to me spaces, I only like turning left into parking spots. I don't like doing right.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Because for some reason, like, I feel like when I go right, I end up so crooked for some reason. Whereas if I go left, I'm a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think it's because maybe you're sitting on the left side. Because, like, we're American.
Yeah.
So the steering wheel's on the left side of the car.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
That might be it. But, like, I remember I was trying to concentrate because that parking lot was like a fishtail, kind of. But it was, I don't know, the lines were really hard to see. So I'm trying to focus because there's quite a lot of people there. And I'm in the middle of, like, turning and I hear that line and I'm like, Excuse me. Okay.
Let me just pause here. What?
I had to write to, like, as soon as I parked, I had to write that down on my phone because I was listening to it with the Lexi Girl app.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
I feel like this series is so slept on.
You know, honestly,
I have never read anything like this, and I loved it. Like, from, like, the first, like, couple of chapters, I'm just, like, hooked. I can't wait to finish it.
For me, though, I couldn't exactly, like, get into it until about 50% the way through, I think, when, like, he starts going off on this journey to find Inez.
Yeah.
That's only when it kind of got interesting to me.
That was the mom that was missing, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
I didn't really fall in love with it, but that's mainly just because it's not my kind of genre that I normally read. But I will say the writing was really good.
It was really good.
Like, you know, there's a difference between, like, really good writing and really bad writing. You know what? We can compare my writing to this now that we've released mine.
Oh my gosh.
Like, this is exceptional compared to mine.
Your writing makes this, like, it belongs in the Hall of Fame.
But even, like, some of the other books that we've read on here that, like, are my genre, like, this writing was a lot better.
Yeah, it was really good.
Some of the stuff.
Some of the details that he used, it was just like, how does your mind come up with that?
I'd
like,
love to ask him.
So good. I really hope we get to interview him one day. My next quote, so some of these, like my next notes are mostly quotes because I was making all my notes on my Kindle. And so I would highlight a section and then add my note on to it. So I might quote a lot from the book. Honestly, it's too good not to. I'm not going to lie. Here's a quote. It looked like something out of a comic book, to be honest. Two superheroes all squared off at each other. Only instead of Batman, you got me, a squirrely little meth head with a snarky attitude. And I laughed so hard I cried when I read that. Because this book earned the unputdownable status for me. Because I stayed up so many times to read this book. So this was like 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And I'm silently crying, trying not to wake my husband up because I'm laughing so hard. This book was just creme de la creme.
I wrote... So there's a point when he's driving, right? He's driving high, so he's just like...
Oh yeah, he's gone.
And it reminded me of me driving around these country roads, which, you know, these country roads don't have streetlights.
Half of them don't even have lines.
Yeah, so it reminded me of me driving the country roads before I realized high beams exist. I never used high beams when I lived up north.
Are you serious?
There's streetlights. I don't need them.
Everywhere?
I had lived in the suburbs.
So everywhere you ever went, there's always streetlights?
Pretty much.
Girl, there's only streetlights in the city. If you're in the county with a streetlight, you're rich because you got to pay for that. So
yeah, no. I think even when I lived in North Carolina for a little bit.
What about the potholes? Did you have potholes real bad up there?
We had pretty bad potholes. Not as bad as here.
Oh, dang.
I mean, but yeah, no. I never had a need for it. Like, I didn't even know how to use high beams. Like, it's bad.
Oh my gosh.
Remember? Was it your baby shower that my brother came to? Yeah, that's when I found out how to use high beams.
Oh my god.
When he and I were driving back in the dark from wherever, or we were getting somewhere, we were driving on these, like, random roads, and he's just like, you just do this. And for some reason he knew, and I'm just like, oh. He
drives a lot to different states to work, so I can understand why he would know how to do that.
I never used them. I never had a need for them. That was my thing.
Have you ever used your car alarm still to this day? Because months ago,
that was like
she asked me what the red button on her keys meant, and I said,
No, I knew what it did.
Okay.
I was scared of using it because I was scared I wouldn't know how to turn it off.
And I'm like, just press it again. You're like, I'm scared. I'm like,
I didn't know. I've never had a need for it. The only reason why I needed it then is because... Beep, 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 beep.
Breaking news tonight at 9. We've got two idiots on the microphone. With Bibliophiles Audiophiles News, I'm James. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
So, imagine driving a car with a deer corpse in your back seat, and suddenly it starts glowing and reeking like vomit.
It wasn't in the back seat, it was in the passenger seat.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was the back seat. I'm like,
yeah. No, I thought I was like, is that just a product of him being high, or is it actually happening? But it was actually happening, apparently.
Well, yeah, because he's a Methgician.
Yeah.
Hence the Gician part of Methgician.
Man, I think you're like way ahead of me. Sorry. I have so many notes. They're like literally just quotes from the book. And I'm just like, these are too funny not to mention.
That's fair.
This one.
There's pretty good quotes.
There was a rattle, the sound of maybe a hubcap coming off, but who's to say there had ever been a hubcap there to begin with? I certainly couldn't. You couldn't either. No one knows nothing, because he's driving his uncle's car. What did you think about his grandma just putting the jar on the front porch for him to catch I forgot what it's called, the deer head thing, the spirit in the jar?
To be honest, I don't really remember it.
Don't remember. I stopped, my gaze falling on the small object before the door. I could see it was an old mason jar, its lid rusty with age. Inside was a slip or two of paper with some kind of liquid in the bottom. It was a spell jar. And then in my words, I said, Grandma really said I'm not doing nothing. Because she low-key didn't talk to him, but kind of tasked him to go deal with it.
Yeah.
And so he came back, and then she just had sat on the porch, wouldn't even talk to him, just like, you deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was imagining my grandmother for some reason. I don't know why.
Which one?
My grandmother.
Oh, yeah.
Not the Cherokee one. My dad's mom.
Yeah, you know what? I can see it.
Yeah. Here's a quote. Garrett will agree with this one. It was all just noise to me. Whiny redneck music. You know what happens when you play it backwards? You get your house back, your wife back, your truck back, and your dog back. And I was like, the way that this is really accurate.
Honestly, I've heard that before. Like, people will, like, make fun of, like, country music like that, where it's just like, you put it in reverse.
Play it in reverse.
And, like, I chuckled a little bit at that. Not all country songs are like that, though.
Yeah, I actually really do. I didn't really start enjoying country music till I was, like, already a teenager. But I really do love it.
don't know when I started liking it.
Before you moved to Alabama?
It was before I moved to Alabama.
You knew it was coming.
Foreshadowing. I don't know what this comment's in relation to, but it's only one word if you're interested. Drugs. I don't know. I just wrote drugs for some reason.
Yeah, you know, you like
it. Kind of made me think of, like, I think there's a video that's somewhere, like a TikTok or something, where it's just like...
Drugs.
Yeah,
drugs.
That one.
I think that's cat, isn't it?
Huh?
I think it's a cat, isn't it?
I think so.
Drugs.
But I just kept thinking that. I don't know why.
I say that all the time. It just gets stuck in my head. Out with hotter than Satan's kitchen. In with it might have been hot enough to melt the tits off a brass monkey. Do you remember that one?
No. But,
oh my gosh.
There's some of them, like, I don't know. It's been a minute since I've read the book.
Yeah.
To be honest. So, quotes.
Hot enough to melt the tits off a brass monkey. Again, like, Bob, where do you come up with this stuff? And can I have some of whatever you're smoking? Unless it's meth. I'm not really into meth.
No. That don't sound like fun.
No. What's your next one?
It's about Inez.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there?
Kind of. To the preacher part.
So, my note is how I don't understand how parents can just up and disappear from their kids for days and just leave them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have family members that have done that or do that currently to their kids, and it is mostly drug related. So, hey. But this time, she couldn't help it. She got murdered.
Did she get murdered?
Yes, the preacher drowned her.
Why don't I remember that?
Girl, the dude was, like, in the creek near...
Oh, wait.
The preacher had said something about baptizing her, and so Marsh, water holds memories. My family's a firm believer in that, same with water and the moon. The moon holds memories if you know how to call them up, and so he was sitting there using the moon and obviously the meth to call up the memory, and he saw the preacher was baptizing her, and then he didn't realize that the preacher was holding her there too long until he noticed she started squirming and then she quit. He drowned her. It didn't come out and flat out say he drowned her, but he drowned her. Yeah.
Okay. I kind of remember that now, thinking about it.
Yeah. Marsh had let it slip that she had kids, and he was going to kill the kids to, make it right, because he was supposed to purge the sinners. And the twisted preacher was quoting scripture at Marsh, trying to convince him that killing the kids would be okay, and it's what God wanted. And Marsh said, Marsh 4:20 says you can right off. Again, that moment, I laughed so hard I cried. Who comes up with that? Marsh 4:20. Oh, Lord.
When there was a point where he, was trying to find Inez, right? And there's her car that was just
by itself,
paragraphing stuff. It reminded me of this time when I was at work, and there was a car sitting abandoned in our parking lot for a while. And so I went to one of the managers and I'm like, hey, so there's this car that's out there, and he asked me to accompany him with him to go check out the car. And what he asked me was, are you ready to see a dead body? And I was just like...
How old were you at this time?
Within the last year.
Oh! Currently!
Yeah.
This happened. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get to see a dead body?
No.
Oh.
Thankfully, but also a little sad by that. Not... I don't wish anything ill on anybody, but
Just ask my dad. No, my dad. Bro, dude will walk up and he's like, hey, check this out. This is what I saw at work today. Sometimes I forget he's an investigator. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, cool, what was it? It's a dead body. And I'm like, bro, you don't have to show me this.
No, but we thought that, because it was an abandoned vehicle, we thought, oh, maybe the person... Suicide, died,
yeah.
OD, something. Because we thought we saw someone in there when we first passed by it. Then we decided to leave it alone and then came back later if it was just still there later in the day. Yeah. And there was a person in there. They were alive. We told them
they sleeping or something?
Yeah, they were just living in our parking lot.
Oh, that's sad. So you got to see a body, just not a dead one.
Not a dead body.
My husband's seen 2 dead bodies in the last 2 years.
I've seen 1.
Was it a funeral?
Yeah.
That doesn't count. I'm talking dead, not embalmed. Are you talking about my granddad?
Yeah.
Are you seriously going to bring up my granddad being dead right now, bro?
That's the only dead body. The only time I've ever seen a dead body is at a funeral.
I'm bringing up my dead granddad now. Golly. My next quote was, I was tapped, totally spent. I couldn't have summoned up a magic fart even if you filled me with 10 bowls of magic beans. I think this Methgician honestly reminded me of my dad a little bit.
Really?
Because, my dad would say this kind of stuff.
But he's sober. Well, not sober.
He drinks. He doesn't do meth.
He don't do drugs, but you know, I could see it.
As a police officer, I don't think he'd be allowed to. Might be a little bit frowned upon.
One of the things I wrote down, I guess it's like a quote, but it's his little LSD parrot.
What?
His little LSD parrot.
LSD. I thought you meant like Ellis, like the name Ellis.
No. His little LSD parrot. I forgot exactly what it was in reference to, but I thought it was so funny.
Oh my gosh. Man, I'm not a condoner of drugs.
Same.
In any way.
Same.
I do not recommend it. I don't applaud it.
Same.
But this book, I highly applaud. Yeah, I can see myself going and reading the rest of the series on or off the pod, because I absolutely loved it. I'm totally down. I don't have any more notes. Do you?
Yes.
Oh.
Do you remember? I don't know. You're younger than me, so you may not remember. Do you remember the time when like phones only let you have a certain number of minutes for calls?
Yes,
and stuff?
I had like 3.
I know you're young. There's a time when like you didn't have unlimited texting call.
I know, it's crazy to remember that.
Even like back in like the day before even like cell phones were a thing.
Yeah.
Like you could only have so many minutes.
I was wondering
pay
how
for minutes.
the Methgician, Marsh, was able to afford minutes. Because like he barely worked.
Yeah. So the uncle was talking about silence or something, and he doesn't like silence or something.
Maybe.
Something like that. They were talking about like silence, and like my anxiety cannot handle silence.
I don't either. Yeah.
Like if it's dead silent, like I start having an anxiety attack.
I have tinnitus. Like at least the music can kind of drown it out a little bit. It's just constant ringing.
I'm like scared of having tinnitus too.
Yeah.
Because like, fun fact, I have epilepsy, right?
Oh.
And so,
Ooh.
Well, my thing is like, I get really nervous when like it gets dead silent. I think it's just like a PTSD thing.
Yeah.
Because like when those things would happen, I don't know how to explain it, but like I'd have like mini seizures.
Calm before the storm
like,
kind of deal.
Calm before the storm.
Yeah.
And like I'm conscious of it and like the situation, but like I can't hear anything else.
Yeah.
And it's just this weird thing, and it's giving me anxiety right now.
Yeah.
So like I'm gonna try to like get away from that topic, but like that just freaks me out. So like I need to be listening to something.
I don't blame you.
So like even like at night, I'm glad there's dogs that live at the house, because at least they can be making noise.
Yeah.
That's why I need like a fan or something.
Some kind of noise.
Something, because it just freaks me out otherwise. So my anxiety can't handle that.
With tinnitus, sucks. It's just constant ringing, but noise helps.
Yeah.
Because I don't focus on it kind of deal. It's easier to drown out.
That's actually my last note.
Oh, my last note's buzzwords. Do you have any buzz comments?
So, do you want my rating too, or just comments?
You go ahead.
Okay, so my rating for this, I gave it a 3.5.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry.
Are we not friends anymore?
Apparently not.
Is this you breaking up with me?
Yeah. This is my outtake, my like bye, peace letter, whatever.
Peace.
No, I got a 3.5. The writing was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the storyline wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really get invested into it until like 50% in, when Inez was missing and he went to go find her. I feel like if the story was just that, I probably would have been way more invested into it.
Less meth.
Yeah.
Less meth.
Less
meth.
Yeah.
Less meth. More
like,
magician.
For me, it's not my kind of cup of tea.
Yeah.
For genres, but I thought the writing was really good, so I deserved.
I gave it a 4 out of 5. My buzzwords are funny, magical, and methical.
Methical.
No, I love it. I've never read anything like this. I guess coming from Alabama and like reading about the small town and like the meth head.
That is something I really like.
That's something I could like easily imagine, because there are surprisingly a lot of meth heads in the South. So
yeah, you don't really see too much of that in the suburbs in Jersey, I don't think. But
Man.
I mean, you had your group of kids who did drugs, but like
weed.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was probably weed. Well, yeah.
I've had to call the cops 3 times in 2023 because of meth heads and dope heads coming up to my house. Like, no, go away. And this one couple, like, they were obviously tweaking, walking across my yard, screaming at each other, and at one point picking up rocks out of my driveway and throwing them at each other. And I'm like, keep in mind, I live in the county. I do not live in the city. There's a surprising amount of dope heads out here. And I'm just like, can y'all please not go anywhere else in the world? Not here, not my front porch, Especially not when I'm home alone.
Yeah, no, you don't see that in Jersey. I mean, you have them somewhere.
Sure, I mean, everywhere
Not where I
does.
lived, but
yeah, that's
yeah.
crazy to me.
You know what I find really funny?
Hmm.
There's like these videos that I keep seeing on Instagram where it's just like they're like making fun of like Jersey towns, where it's just like, wow, the best cities in Jersey to live, and then like it's all this like really fun music and stuff like that, but it's like the worst cities to live in.
So like Birmingham,
like
Jersey,
Birmingham,
yeah,
but somewhere on the same level.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
there's always gonna be that stuff no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Honestly, I feel like Birmingham's actually more violent,
Yes,
I guess,
yes. Like highest crime right now.
than anywhere in Jersey, I think.
Yeah.
Even like the really bad areas. But there's still really bad areas. in
Talking
Jersey.
like stopping at a red light and you're getting mugged. Like crazy. Just crazy stuff happens in Birmingham. But anyways, it is almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm ready to wrap this up if you are.
Yeah.
So, parting notes, we don't like meth, but we do like Methgicians,
Yes.
apparently. I do, especially like Methgicians. I almost gave this a 5 out of 5.
She'd marry a Methgician if she could.
I would marry a Methgician. You know, he's got magic, he's got meth. What more does a girl need? We really hope to interview Bob one day in the future. That would be amazing.
That's going to be our little bonus episodes.
I'm really hoping
Any
so.
author we're able to, interview.
Snagging and talking with us losers. Yeah. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Bonus episodes.
So we have an email at biblioaudiopod@gmail.com if you'd like to email recommendations, or if you are Bob in particular, then you can email us and let us know if you'd like to be on the show.
Or we have an Instagram at biblioaudiopodcast.
Mm-hmm.
I was almost going to leave it at pod. That's not right.
I don't think that's right.
And we got stuff on there. And we also have a website. It's biblioaudiopod.com. Bear with us since there's not too much on there.
Nothing on it.
But we have
we're working on merch.
We're working on merch and kind of like blog posts, but they're more like teasers to episodes.
Yeah.
So like you can
Pod posts.
hop on to like one. It has our collages that we post on Instagram and
some episode highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Some of our favorite bits and pieces.
Stuff like that. Trigger warnings and stuff for books and stuff, and just like that.
If that's something you'd be interested in,
that's there if you want it. You don't have to. I'm just doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah, honestly, it is really fun to go back and just see the highlights, our favorite parts. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.